Right now, we kick off your 4 to 5 with a live look at the radar. As you can see, it's pretty active as it tracks storms moving across the Triad.
That's right. We're keeping an eye on things here, of course. Meteorologist Monique Robinson here to let us know what's happening. How bad do these look, Monique?
Well, we're looking at some strong storms now across Yadkin County, and that storm heading to the south and east, that is the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have in the Triad. You do see those yellow polygons down to the south of Hickory, but this severe thunderstorm warning is what we're concerned with in the Triad. As you can see, there's roughly about 100 lightning strikes with this storm over the past 15 minutes. Now, this severe thunderstorm warning continues to about 4:15, so we got about 15 more minutes on this, but as it moves to the south and east and kind of crosses over Davie County, portions there of Forsyth County. The question is, will it maintain its status as a severe thunderstorm or will it weaken a bit? As of the looks of it, I think it will maintain its status as a severe thunderstorm because we see this abundant lightning. It's not weakening at all as it continues to move in an environment that's actually really healthy for thunderstorms. It's hot outside, it's humid outside. We talk about those two ingredients being really healthy to help these storms continue to be strong. So as the storm moves to the south and east into those counties just south and east of it, so if you are in Moxville, Arcadia, maybe even portions there of Winston-Salem, you're going to see this storm in the next couple of minutes because this storm is moving to the south and east roughly around 15 miles per hour. I want to widen this view though, not only to look at our area, but the mid-Atlantic. This is just the same as yesterday. We were concentrating our eyes to the border of Kentucky and looking at Virginia and southern West Virginia. This all area of storms is all traveling to the east and south and east. And so as these storms travel in our direction, they could maintain their status as strong to severe storms. And that's why we need to be on alert watching the radar in that area because they're all headed our way. Over the next several hours, I'll be doing that here in the Weather Center roughly from now until about 8 p.m. We're going to start to see our skies change. As I said yesterday, it's a three-step model. First, the clouds start to darken. They start to look ominous, look kind of scary like a movie scene. Then your winds will pick up. And then after that, you'll see some light rain and then the heavier rain will follow. We're seeing some different pictures of clouds across the area. None of these are giving that picture of that ominous dark view. But you know what I'm talking about, where they're gray and dark. We're not seeing that now, at least in Greensboro, definitely not. But as we go through this evening, we could. So I'll be keeping an eye on the radar just for you at home.
And as we follow the storms moving across the area, we want to see your weather pictures. Just text them to 336-379-5775. We need your name and where you're watching from. And only snap a photo, though, if you're in a safe spot. No picture is worth your safety. All right, let's take a look at some of the pictures everybody sent in last night's storms. This one from Guilford County. You can see a lightning strike landing, and this was just north of PTI Airport. Really dramatic weather last night. Over in downtown Greensboro, a similar scene. Look at those clouds. Dark clouds, flashes of lightning within the clouds there. That's a little bit of video that someone sent in. And check this one out. Another lightning strike in Greensboro. As it hits, the bolt turned the clouds purple, only to disappear behind a building that was a couple hundred yards away. Mother Nature put on the big show, and while active weather is cool to see, it can get very dangerous. Right now, a Winston-Salem family is figuring out what's next after lightning started a fire there that destroyed their home. Just after 6 p.m., the strike hit Forsyth County, the home there, jump-starting this massive flame. The family says they heard the loud boom and then rushed next door to call 911. Once on the scene, crews worked to battle the fire, but say it was difficult because of ongoing lightning strikes. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and some belongings were actually spared. Neighbors told us that the family had just moved in a few months before. Firefighters believe due to all the damage, that home will probably have to be torn down. Keep in mind, today's storms are expected to be about the same strength as yesterday's. Now, while we can't predict if we'll see exact damages like yesterday, we want you to stay weather aware. And this means you need to keep our app. It's free, by the way. Keep it close to you. Easy to download from either the Apple Store or Google Play. And there you'll have the latest weather updates anytime, wherever you are.
Turning now to a developing story that's getting a lot of attention online. A woman accused of killing her father had her first court appearance today. Greensboro police arrested 22-year-old Michaela Lee yesterday on a first-degree murder charge. Police say she shot 61-year-old Michael Lee on the 4th of July, and he later died from those injuries. Before today's proceedings, we spoke with the suspect's brother and sister. The siblings say they have mixed feelings, saying it's hard losing a family member, but also believe there's more to the story.
That person that they may see in their mugshot,
that is not my.
that's not the face we know. Those are not, it's not her. And we just want justice to be served as it should, because and we serve a God that is able to fix it, but that's not our system.
Lee remains in Guilford County Jail without bond. As standard with this kind of charge, she could face life in prison or the death penalty if convicted. Burlington police are also investigating after they found a 54-year-old man dead in a yard. It happened yesterday on Foster Street just before noon. Officers identified the victim as Tracy Brown. They say he was shot and died on scene. Today we spoke with a neighbor who says Brown was known for looking out for others.
He always minded his own business. If you needed the grass cut or you needed something done, if you can find him, if he's there at the time, he'd do it.
Right now, police have not identified a suspect. If you know anything, call police.
All right, now we want to turn our attention to breaking Panther news here. This is a big deal. The Panthers have acquired quarterback Baker Mayfield in a trade with the Cleveland Browns. Join us now is Jalen Gilkey. We're going to talk about that deal, and this was a big one, Jalen.
Yeah, man, it was, Eric. The Panthers are sending a conditional 2024 fifth-round pick to the Cleveland Browns for Baker Mayfield, and the two teams are splitting the $18 million cap hit. The former first overall pick joins fellow 2018 draftee Sam Darnold, backup quarterback P.J. Walker, rookie Matt Corral in a competition for the starting role this season. Darnold's disappointing performance from last season led the Panthers front office to pursue the controversial quarterback Deshaun Watson earlier this season. Now, Watson was eventually traded to the Browns, which prompted Mayfield to request a trade. Mayfield had a career year in 2020, leading the Browns to their first playoff win in 29 years. But in an injury-riddled and disappointing 2021 campaign, that led the Browns to move the quarterback. Now, the QB competition begins just 3 weeks from today when training camp kicks off down in Spartanburg.
So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, because we watched him a year or so ago and he was phenomenal, and I never thought this would happen. But then the Deshaun and the Watson thing, the Browns have their hands full with this decision.
That's a whole different.
That's a whole different ballgame. But I think for this, it's the best thing to happen to the Panthers. If I'm either PJ or Sam, I don't know if I'm looking right now,
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure Sam wasn't very confident in his starting spot and his security in his job coming into this season anyway. But now I think this kind of solidifies it that they're looking elsewhere for sure. And it's going to be very interesting because week 1, Carolina actually plays Cleveland. So that lets you know what Cleveland thinks about Baker.
Yeah, I did not know that. All right, so just real quick, what do you think with the receiving core that we have? Good enough for Baker to make a difference? I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely. As long as he plays serviceable and, doesn't turn the ball over 20 times or just throw 20 picks or 30 or whatever the number was that Darnold had last year, I think, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson will be able to make some plays. The key will be, though, Christian McCaffrey staying healthy and his health throughout the season.
See, his health has been an issue, a running issue.
His entire career.
True. It's very true. All right, we could talk about that forever, but we got to go pay some bills. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
We have breaking news in downtown Greensboro right now. Police are investigating reports of an armed suspect in the Lowe's home improvement store on Cone Boulevard near 29. As you can see, it's a very active scene there. Lots of law enforcement vehicles and flashing lights. Police say they don't know what kind of weapon. Part of the store has been evacuated. Police stress this is a very active scene and they are still in the early stages of the investigation. Again, police are investigating reports of an armed suspect in the Lowe's home improvement store on Cone Boulevard near 29 in Greensboro. We'll keep monitoring the situation and we'll keep you updated both on air and online. Stick with us.
All right, let's change gears here. If you don't know about the historic Magnolia house in Greensboro, then you're missing out on this. It's so cool. This house was originally an inn and restaurant for African Americans back in the late 1940s through the early 60s. Well, now the new owners, they've completely renovated this historical home and restored it to somewhat of a bed and breakfast / restaurant and inn, and it is taking Greensboro by storm. I spoke to the new owner, Natalie Pass-Miller, about its future. Natalie, you've done a lot of work in this space, and this is such a beautiful historic house. Tell me about that work and what you did.
Yeah, so the whole goal really was about restoring, and so today when people join us, they're actually walking in a 100% fully restored 1949 North Carolina Green Book Hotel. And so with our most recent opening of our suppers and our brunches, which we have suppers on Thursday and Friday nights now, starting at 5:30, and then brunches are every Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 3. And that is exciting because what we're recreating is that Black history component. When our travelers would come and stay with us, if Mama Gist wasn't feeding them, they would go over to the Plantation Supper Club. So we're recreating that initiative there.
Talk about the people that stayed here. It's amazing. It's like a who's who of entertainers and influencers back in the day. Tell me about some of those.
Oh man, James Brown, I know when he'd stay here, he'd be out there playing with the kids in the streets.
Oh my gosh.
Louis, he'd sit over here in the ballroom when he'd stay with us for 3 weeks at a time, eating biscuits and cleaning his trumpet. Ike and Tina Turner, Gladys Knight, Jackie Robinson. It's a lot of history. The
history is overwhelming. All right, let's talk about the menu because everybody wants to know what you're making.
So we do what we call a soulful elegance cuisine. So it really is a tribute back, we talk about that intentionality. So a tribute to Mama Gist and that Southern flair. We do have I think our most popular dishes, the fish, shrimp, and grits. We have our fried chicken and French toast is very popular, and our fried green tomatoes. I think we just have this really great spin on so many dishes. We've even recreated Louis Armstrong's favorite.
What?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You guys will have to join us for dinner and for brunch.
I saw a fried chicken sandwich with pimento cheese or something or another. I couldn't get past that on the menu.
It's delightful.
I can't wait.
It's delightful.
That does sound pretty good right now.
It's good. I was looking at their menu and it's really tasty. One thing that I wanted to emphasize, because they're kind of known for brunch already, because they were doing brunch before they did this big renovation, but it's the dinners that are so great, and the food quality is incredible. And those are 5:30 to 10, I think. And don't quote me on the days. There's a couple days they're not open during the week, but most of the time they're open, and you can stay there. The rooms are there. They have 4 different rooms, can hold up to 10 people. They can do meetings, gatherings, corporate events, all that.
So about 2 months ago, I did go there, but I went for the brunch. So I want to try out the dinner, but I had the fried chicken with the French toast, and it was so delicious. That green room is where we sat. It's so beautiful, but I wish I would have toured the building.
Yes.
So I definitely want to go back and try the dinner and actually get to tour, some of the different rooms and spaces.
So when you first come, I don't know if you noticed this, when you first come in on the wall, they have one of the original signs.
Okay.
Now it's old and messed up. It's so cool looking, though, so like retro. They've got it in a glass case, and I said, "Oh, you've displayed that really well." And she goes, "We're going to open open a museum section.
Wow.
Where they're going to put all this information. And you saw all those celebrities.
And there should be a museum for
Absolutely.
it. When she was naming all those different people, Louis Armstrong, James Brown, I mean, that's an incredible place to bring guests that come into town.
It is.
So they could be, you know, in the room with some of the
Yes.
greats. So, I mean, it's really a museum within itself. So I think that's cool that they're going to add that extra part.
And do the research on this and read about the Green Book and how that helped this succeed back in the day. Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just like the renovations happening at the historic Magnolia house, people can also upgrade their lives. Today, Coach Lamont shares a message about becoming a fighter to overcome adversity.
Remember the movie The Color Purple? The character Sophia, she said that famous line, "All my life I've had to fight." I believe there's a Sophia that lives on the inside of all of us. It seems that we face some type of battle, we get knocked down, but the good thing is we didn't stay there. We got back up and we kept swinging. When you discover that the moment you win one battle, it becomes a mental blueprint to how you can defeat anything that comes in your life. We may not understand why at times life seems so hard and why we have to face the toughest of challenges, but no one said that this life we're living was going to be easy. We must remain steadfast, remain determined, and know that whatever we face, we have already won. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I know the biggest question for a lot of people after yesterday is, will today be just like yesterday? Well, this is a much different picture as compared to yesterday. If you recall, if you were with us at our 4 p.m. hour yesterday, we had this immensely large storm with a lot of lightning right over Mount Airy. And as it continued to move south, we saw a lot of lightning continue to grow as it moved further south through the 4 p.m. hour, through the 5 p.m. hour. We're not seeing that now. We do have this cluster of storms, and not taking away the fact that there is a loud storm over Yadkin County that as it continues to move to the south and east, bringing some lightning and heavy rainfall to Davie County. And if you are in Winston-Salem, you are getting some rain as of now. And as this storm pushes to the south, it will bring you guys some more rain and some strong winds to Winston-Salem. But we're not seeing what we saw yesterday. We're not seeing that immensely strong storm. However, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the radar to see if anything develops over the next couple of hours. I'm always sticking with you, and I always have your forecast right in the palm of your hand. Make sure to download that app as well. The best way to describe the weather outside is it is hot. It feels like 100 degrees in a lot of locations across the southeast and even greater than that, Oklahoma City, feeling like 105. Aren't you glad you live in the Triad where it feels like 99, at least in Greensboro, 104 in Burlington. You guys aren't too far off from that Oklahoma City read. Lexington feeling like 101. Now there's a difference between all of these areas and all of these areas. You can see these feel like the 80s and these feel like the 90s and nearly 100. Now this is because the places that have not seen storms are warmer than the places that have. If you get a storm that moves through, it does allow for a brief cool down across the area. And you can see over the past couple of hours, we've been keeping an eye on the western counties that have seen some storms, and that's helped to cool them down just a bit. This arrow was pointing to this severe thunderstorm that's not technically in our area, but keeping a close eye on things neighboring us, because those things neighboring us could eventually make their way into our area. So I'm keeping a very close eye on what's happening just to the north and west of us. Right around the southern area of Virginia, all of these storms with a lot of lightning are moving to the south, and we could possibly be seeing some of those. The primary storm threats that we really need to worry ourselves with any of these storms will be gusty winds, hail, lightning, as well as flash flooding. And we've seen all of those except for the hail. We didn't really see much hail yesterday, but we could see some hail today, and we could even see some hail as we go through the afternoon tomorrow. So our futurecast showing those storms making their way through fairly quickly, clearing out by 8 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon for your Thursday, we could see another round of storms, some of which could be strong. And so as always, we are keeping an eye on the radar from you from sunup to sundown. Sundown time, that's the best time for storms. The air is hot, the air is juicy, and we have those perfect ingredients for storms to develop. So keeping an eye on the radar through the rest of this 4 p.m. hour and all the way through tonight at 11. I'm right with you, sticking with you to the end.
Tonight is a big night here on WFY News 2. We've got 2 major premieres you don't want to miss.
Yeah, first, Big Brother is back. It's the 24th season. Kicks off with the wildest twists and challenges yet.
Tonight at 8, all 16 house guests will move into a mid-century Palm Springs-inspired house called the BB Motel, each bringing their own bit of spice with them.
I am very excited about being in the Big Brother house. It's like literally a dream come true.
Also excited to meet these house guests.
I've been studying this game for 20 years.
My strategy going into this game, it's, just being myself.
I'm not necessarily a liar in real life, but to win this game, you definitely have to lie.
I have a lot of energy, and I'm going to be the one twerking on tables and having a good time.
I want to get in that house and bring that $750,000 cash home.
All right, the fun doesn't stop there. Directly after Big Brother, get ready for the first episode of The Challenge USA.
You may remember it back in the day on MTV, but this is reimagined. The show features 28 fan favorites from Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, and Love Island.
They will all battle for their share of a $500,000 prize. That is all tonight at 9:30 on WFMY News 2. All right, Lauren yelled when that first section on Big Brother ended, and I said, why? And you said...
I know one of the participants, she used to
can't
do
believe
my
that.
nails when I lived in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. She was the one that was wearing the pink
She had
outfit.
turquoise on, didn't she?
No, she had pink, and she's like a social media influencer now. She has like thousands of followers, but I haven't talked to her in a couple years, but yeah, she used to do my nails like every 3 weeks.
Because, I mean, when she really reacted, she was like, oh my gosh. But,
That is so awesome.
So you haven't talked to her in
I haven't
forever.
talked to her in a couple years. We do follow each other on Instagram, but that just, I'm going to be rooting for her.
Now
That's
you
the
gotta
first time I've known someone on a reality show.
Go look at her Instagram account.
will.
We'll see what she said. I guess
Yeah.
they can't say anything, though, whether they win or not.
Yeah,
so.
but I'm also excited about the challenge as well. Big challenge fan, been watching since middle school, so it'll be exciting to see the difference with it being on CBS versus MTV.
That I would like to watch. I've never seen Big Brother. I know, I'm ashamed to admit it. We'll be right back.
Where have you
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
We begin with breaking news happening in Greensboro right now. Police are investigating reports of an armed suspect in the Lowe's home improvement store on Cone Boulevard near 29. Right now, you're taking a live look at that scene. You can see it's still very active. Police say they don't know what kind of weapon, and part of the store has been evacuated. Here are some pictures someone closer to the store sent us. As you can see, armed officers near the entrance of the store. You can also see an employee outside the store in the parking lot. We're going to take another live look at that scene. Police stress this is an active scene, still in the early stages of the investigation. We've got a crew at the scene working to learn more, and we'll bring you live updates as soon as we get more information.
All right, let's move to our other top story of the afternoon. Right now, we're, of course, taking a live look at the radar over here to see what's happening. And you can see lightning strikes and thunderstorms. I mean, this is kind of the rule tonight, isn't it, Monique?
Yeah, very summer-like pattern where we have hot and humid weather during the day, and then we have that storm potential in the afternoon. So that's where we're going to be keeping a close eye on the radar over the next several hours. Now, we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning necessarily in the Triad, but we do see a severe storm well down to the south and west of us. Now, this particular storm has weakened over the past several hours. It did have a severe thunderstorm warning with it earlier. Now we're looking at heavy rainfall. It still has the lightning and some stronger wind gusts around it, but not necessarily meeting that severe storm criteria. Going to keep an eye on the radar as we are tracking and keeping an eye on how things are brewing in the border of Tennessee and southern Virginia. As you can see, there is immense lightning with the storms well to the north of us, and those are heading south. So as they move south, the question is, are they going to stay strong or are they going to weaken? We hope they weaken. We don't want to mess like yesterday. Our live look across the area, we do see those cumulus clouds sticking with us, but these are the fair weather cumulus clouds. They're not the dark, ominous, scary ones. It's kind of hard to see based on the reflection of your camera view. These aren't the scary ones. They're just plain old white cumulus clouds that happen oftentimes in the summer that develop, but they don't produce much of activity. The futurecast showing the potential for storms to sweep through the area over the next couple of hours. Clearing out by around 9 p.m., leaving some maybe light showers in the area, and starting your day on Thursday with some fog and even some clouds in the early part of the day. And then for your afternoon, we could be looking at another round of storms. So haven't shown the 7-day yet for the 4 p.m. hour, but I just want to give it to you guys here. Temperatures staying hot for your Thursday and also for your Friday. We're staying in the 90s. And then this weekend, a cold front crosses on your Saturday, and that leaves for cooler and less humid conditions for your Sunday as well as your Monday. So Sunday looking like a cool day, but we will be tracking storms at least lingering for the early part of your day. Your Monday is looking drier, and I feel like Monday, I'm giving that one the A+ weather day.
All right, as we follow these storms and moving all across the area, we want to see your weather pics. Just text them to that number there, 336-379-5775, and give us your name and where you're watching from. Remember, be safe. Always make sure you're in a safe spot when you take these pictures. That's not worth your safety. So right now, crews are preparing for the possibility of severe weather damage. Last night, the storms cut off power for some people in Winston-Salem. Today, Duke Energy was out working on some of the lines. Currently, all widespread outages are clear, but we'll continue to monitor that for you.
Well, you know, you can't talk about Triad storms without thinking about what we saw in the Triad last night. This Winston-Salem house, I mean, just ablaze. Firefighters believe that lightning struck the house, sparking the fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Crews on the scene said the family had just moved into the house about a month ago. I mean, when I look at this, all I can think about is, thankfully, homeowners insurance covers this kind of stuff. But for your insurance company to pay all that it should, you need to know what else was in your house, what needs to be replaced by insurance. I got to tell you, that would be overwhelming when you just look at the inside of a house, right, and trying to think of all the pieces and parts in there. So while things are calm right now, I want you to do a home inventory.
It doesn't have to be complicated. You can even use the camera on your phone.
Seriously, people, do just one room every time we go to commercial break. You're going to open up the closets, the cabinets, the drawers. You're going to walk around the house. You're going to describe anything that you would want to replace, electronics and artwork and whatever. If there was a fire or a tornado and it destroyed things, you want to be able to get back what you had. So this lightning fire from last night, it really could happen to any of us.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about this the other day with my renter's insurance because I just got a new TV and some new other items. And I'm like, I probably need to update my policy.
Absolutely. You definitely need to at least take pictures and be able to show what you have and when you had it for sure. Yeah.
I like that it's that easy that you literally can just walk around and talk
Yeah,
through it,
that
and
makes
then you
it
need to
easy.
make sure that video is backed up everywhere.
Right, and you can send it to yourself in email, you can send it to your insurance agent, send it to yourself at work, some other place that you'd be able to get it as well. Now, someone in our morning meeting mentioned lightning rods. Here's what I found out. You put a lightning rod on your house, right at the very top, maybe the sides as well. The lightning hits there, and instead of the house absorbing all of it, like we just saw in that video, the lightning strike then travels down the side of the house to the ground wires, bypassing the electrical system in your house. Now, the lightning rod can help keep your home from being damaged.
So it works?
It works. Now, it doesn't prevent your house being struck by lightning, because they say if the lightning's going to strike, the lightning's going to strike.
Right.
But it takes it outside of your house. So you see here, like
So
there's
it bounces
your
off.
right. There's your electrical breaker and your electric meter and stuff like that. It doesn't hit that part. It doesn't make doesn't spark anything there. It doesn't go into the house. It actually takes it and moves that electricity
And so
out.
they have set on this drawing, at least there are several of them, right?
Yeah,
So-
but you can probably get away with one.
Wow,
I
How
would
common
think.
are they? Is this something a lot of homeowners
never
have?
seen
Or,
that.
okay.
No. So now remember when I said insurance covers lightning strikes, it does. And I want to make sure I say it does. But inflation could mean a gap in how much you get for your damages. So I'm going to talk about that coming up at 6 o'clock, friends.
There's always the catch.
I know, there's
Yes,
always a
the
but.
catch. All right, so keep in mind today's storms are expected to be about the same strength as yesterday's. And while we can't predict if we'll see similar damages, we want you to stay weather aware. So this means all you have to do is download our free app, WFMY News 2 app. It's easy to download from either the Apple Store or Google Play. You'll get those latest weather updates at any time, wherever you are.
Let's turn now to new details on the mass shooting that rocked a Chicago suburb on the 4th of July. Prosecutors say the suspect confessed to his crimes today. The suspect also reportedly told investigators he planned to continue his rampage had police not stopped him. Right now, the shooter is being held without bail and faces 7 counts of first-degree murder. More charges are possible. Back in 2019, police responded to 2 separate calls at the suspect's house, one for a suicide attempt and another for threats against his family. Months later, police say he obtained a state firearms owner ID and legally bought 5 weapons. Turning now to a developing story that's getting a lot of attention online. A woman accused of killing her father had her first court appearance today. Greensboro police arrested 22-year-old Michaela Lee yesterday on a first-degree murder charge. Police say she shot 61-year-old Michael Lee on the 4th of July and he later died from his injuries. Before today's proceedings, we spoke with the suspect's brother and sister. The siblings say they have mixed feelings about this, saying it's hard losing a family member, but also believe there's more to the story here.
That person that they may see in their mugshot,
That is not my.
that's not the face we know. Those are not, it's not her. And we just want justice to be served as it should, because and we serve a God that is able to fix it, but that's not our system.
Lee remains in Guilford County Jail with no bond. As standard with this kind of case, she could face life in prison or the death penalty if convicted. Burlington police are also investigating after they found a 54-year-old man dead in a yard. It happened yesterday on Foster Street just before noon. Officers identified the victim as Tracy Brown. They say he was shot and died on the scene. Today we spoke with a neighbor who says Brown was known for looking out for others.
He always minded his own business. If you needed the grass cut or you needed something done, if you can find him, if he's there at the time, he'd do it.
Right now, police have not identified a suspect, but if you know anything, call police.
Let's turn now to sports and some breaking news for the Carolina Panthers. They have acquired QB Baker Mayfield in a trade with the Cleveland Browns. The former first overall pick joins fellow 2018 draft pick Sam Darnold, backup QB PJ Walker, and rookie Matt Corral in a competition all for that starting role. Darnold's disappointing performance from last season led the Panthers front office to pursue the embattled QB Deshaun Watson. That was earlier this year. Watson was eventually traded to the Browns, which prompted Mayfield to request a trade. Mayfield had a career year in 2020. He led the Browns to their first playoff win in 29 years, but an injury riddled and disappointed the 2021 campaign led the Browns to move on from the quarterback. Now the QB competition for the Panthers, that begins 3 weeks from today when training camp kicks off down in Spartanburg. We'll see what happens. We're coming back.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. We are here outside the Lowe's on East Combe Boulevard. Armed suspect.
It's unplugged.
It's not on. Not possible that it is on. It's unplugged. I got it. I got it. Yep, got it.
We're staying on top of breaking news in Greensboro. Police say they took an armed suspect into custody at a Lowe's home improvement.
WFMY News 2's Grace Holland is live at the store on Cone Boulevard. Grace, tell us what's happening right now.
Well, we started to see a few Greensboro police officer cars leaving the scene at this point. Still very active behind me. I'll step out of the way so you can see. We have been told that the investigation is ongoing. Police say that they have that suspect in custody. They say that it was a suspect who fled into the Lowe's while they were doing another investigation nearby. The police believe that that suspect was armed, and there is no word on what that weapon was that they believe that they were armed with at this point. We know that there were obviously some people that were inside the Lowe's. Part of it was evacuated during this process. I briefly spoke to someone who was kind of trapped in the parking lot for a while, but was able to get out and is on their way home now at this point. Still very active. Not a lot of details about what is going on at this point. No word on injuries. We are expecting for Greensboro Police to give a press conference update later this evening.
A grandmother's love is like no other. But what happens when doctors say grandma is on her way to her last goodbye and there's no way they can help? I can't imagine the feeling. 10 years ago, that happened to Miranda Orr, and today she's creating the cure that her grandmother needed, but doctors couldn't provide. It's on the door, the board, the lab coat. Welcome to the Orr Lab, named after Dr. Miranda Orr, a top research assistant professor at Wake Forest University School of Medicine.
I didn't know being a scientist was a job or a career. Where I grew up, that we don't know scientists.
Her grandmother's health issues motivated her.
When I was in high school, my maternal grandmother started losing her memory and having behavioral changes that progressively got worse.
Doctors diagnosed Orr's grandmother with Alzheimer's disease.
So I grew up in northeastern Montana. We had really long winters, and so we spent a lot of time playing cards with the family. And When I noticed that there were major problems happening with Grandma is she wasn't really engaged in playing cards anymore.
It was a hard reality for Dr. Orr to face.
With my grandmother, they had no treatment options, and I really had a hard time wrapping my head around that. How can there be nothing to give her?
Dr. Orr wants to go beyond treatment. Her goal is to eradicate Alzheimer's.
My advisor said, well, do you want to take care of patients with Alzheimer's disease, or do you want to find a cure? And I said, I want to find a cure. Are they grouped based on their treatment?
That brings us to this lab, the place where the science happens.
Where all of these white circles are, those are individual cells. I discovered that one of the fundamental cellular aging processes that happens in all of our cells and tissues as we get older really is contributing to Alzheimer's disease. And so that is what all of the projects in my lab are really focused on. And we even have a clinical trial where we are targeting aging to treat Alzheimer's disease.
As Dr. Orr still searches for the cure, she's at peace knowing she's on the right track.
My blood pressure drops when I come into my lab. This is where I want to be. This is where I know I should be.
There's so many things to glean from this story. One of the things initially when I walked in, I noticed her name was on the door, her name was on her coat, then her name was on everything. And I was like, a woman's name on the wall, on the lab coat? What was that idea? And she said, well, science is a brand. And I want to make sure people know my brand when I walk in. It's my room, you know, and not on any cocky type of thing or it's out of humility, but I've earned and I've deserved this. And I'm walking in this and I want people to know that when they come into my room. I thought that was like so cool. Never seen it before.
I can't imagine having, I mean, she has such a personal tie to this that it's not a job. You know, she's not working.
No.
It's something for the soul.
And I love that connection. I mean, it's a sad connection, but there's so many people that, you know, are impacted by Alzheimer's and dementia, and it doesn't just impact the patients, it impacts the caregivers and the families, and there's so much we don't know about this disease, so it's great we have people like her that are so passionate about this, that are so driven to, you know, find that cure. Even though we get new research about ways that you might be able to quote unquote prevent it, there's so much we just don't know.
And her passion was exuded when I was asking her questions, because it was one of those interviews when I was talking to her, she was so relaxed because this was something that's just been on her heart. She's always wanted to answer these questions about Alzheimer's. Whenever she does presentations, she has her grandmother's picture in her presentation so people understand the importance of this and why she's so passionate about it.
I love her line when she said, my blood pressure drops when I'm here. Like, how many people can say that their blood pressure goes down when they go to the office?
Definitely not here, only because of severe weather. I get a little antsy too, but I know when I heard that too, I was like, wow, she really does love this.
They say it's never a day of work when you're having fun, when you love it.
Yeah, and so I do love the weather. Even though it does get active, I do love it. And so that's why I've been tracking it here for you guys at home. We've been seeing some storms throughout the day, and we're even seeing one severe thunderstorm warning, that same storm that was over Yadkin. Once it got into Davidson County, that's when the air was just right for storms to develop. And so that's what we're seeing now. A strong storm pushing in, and we do see a few lightning strikes with it, but it does have some very gusty winds with it as well. We're seeing wind speeds upwards of almost 60 miles per hour. Those clouds a bit changing in some spots. And you can see over the next couple of hours, we have that potential and chance for storms across the area. So I'm keeping an eye on the radar. I hope you are too. Download that app. Alrighty then, so we're right around the hottest part of the day. From here on out, that thermometer is gonna go down. So yes, it feels like 100 degrees in Greensboro. Yes, it feels like 104 in Burlington, Siler City, and folks south even hotter than that. But as we go over the next couple of hours, looking forward to it getting cooler. Now we do again have that severe thunderstorm warning that's now in Davidson County. Like I said, all of that air that I just showed you, those temperatures in feeling like 100, all that air is perfect for thunderstorms. So if you hit a storm to move in any of those areas, it's going to continue to stay strong, maybe even severe. That's what happened with this storm. As it exited Yadkin County and moved right into Davidson County, right into the area that just felt good for thunderstorms, it maintained its strength as it's a strong, severe storm. And so that's what we're seeing now. Again, I widen this view and I'm keeping a very close eye on all of these states across the mid-Atlantic. Talking Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Virginia. All of these states have storms that are not too far away from us. As they move to the south and east, we could see some strong storms in our area through roughly around 8 p.m. Talking strong winds, the potential for hail, and even some flooding possibly. Now, over the next several hours, that's what I'm keeping an eye on. The futurecast showing it here as we start the day on Thursday, very similar to today. Partly cloudy skies. In the afternoon, we could get some scattered storms developing once again. Some of those can be severe. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center once again says, watch out guys, severe storms could be in your area again for your Thursday. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that as we go through the day tomorrow. Here's your planner for tomorrow. Temperatures warming up to around those low to mid 90s once again. A hot day, feeling even warmer than the thermometer would read. And then we're talking strong storms for the afternoon once again. Here's all you need to know for the next several days. Hot, strong, gusty storms again tomorrow. Welcomed humidity relief Sunday and Monday with a slow warm up in rain chances for the rest of the week to follow. The 7-day matches all of those descriptions. Saying hot tomorrow, saying hot on Friday with storm chances in the late day. Sticking with us on Saturday. A cold front's going to cross on Saturday. It's going to feel cooler on Sunday, less humid on Sunday, and that same type of weather is sticking with us for Monday.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
It is time for my 2 cents. Cell phones are a necessity.
Check 1 2 1 2. I'm over here. Yes.
Yes, 10987654 109876.
Yeah, you can, because Hunter has one. Okay. Yes. Yes, I can. Mic check 1 2 1 2 3.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I can hear you. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Can you hear me, Brett? Can you hear me, Brett? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Thank you.
We are here at the Lowe's on Colne Boulevard. You can see the activity has calmed down significantly.
for my 2 cents. Cell phones are a necessity. It's how we stay connected. We use them to call, text, send emails, and even browse the web. Smartphones are basically computers that you can fit in your pocket. The thought of not having one is frightening. I know I personally get a bit of separation anxiety if I accidentally leave my phone at home or if I've misplaced it in the house for just a few minutes. Though cell phones can be beneficial to our everyday lives, there are some downsides, particularly when it comes to courtesy. July is National Cell Phone Courtesy Month. The month aims to educate cell phone users about etiquette and how these devices should be used in public. For those looking to be more courteous with your phones, here's a few things to keep in mind. Be careful with using speakerphone in public spaces. Remember, not everyone is interested in hearing what should be a personal conversation. That also goes for playing music without headphones. Remember to put your phone on silent when necessary. Nothing is worse than being in a movie theater when someone's phone goes off, especially during the good part. Not to mention the constant vibrations from text messages, just as bad. Lastly, just be in the moment. Sometimes we spend so much time on our phones, we can lose connection with those who are right in front of us. Try putting the phone away while eating dinner with family or when hanging out with friends. Don't worry, your text messages and social media notifications will still be there. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFNY News 2 at 5 starts now. We begin with breaking news today on WFNY News 2 at 5. Greensboro police say a suspect is in custody after reports of an armed person inside a Lowe's home improvement on East Cone Boulevard.
Part of the store had to be evacuated and lots of police remain on the scene. WFNY News 2's Grace